Hi, my name is Robert Opperman. I'm a breathing specialist with Breathing Center. So you just found out that your child has swollen or enlarged adenoids, and the doctors tell you that the only thing to do is surgery. And you are looking on the internet because you want to find a natural alternative. So here at the Breathing Center, that's what we do. We teach people how to resolve their issues with swollen adenoids and tonsils using natural methods. The reason why this occurs in the first place is because there's a problem with the child's breathing. The child is breathing in a way that is causing these symptoms to arise. So you need to understand a little bit about how the body works in order to understand what I'm saying. In order for oxygen to be released from the blood and get into the cells of the body, there needs to be a sufficient level of carbon dioxide. And the way you breathe can affect the level of carbon dioxide in your body. So for example, if your child is hyperventilating or breathing more than they should, it often can be seen if they're breathing through their mouth, or if their breathing is labored or noisy, or if they're snoring at night, that means that they're likely hyperventilating on some low chronic level. So if that's the case, what's happening there is their bodies are becoming depleted of carbon dioxide. And what happens then is that oxygen cannot be released from the blood and get to where it needs to go in the body, including the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the liver, all of the organs, all of the cells and tissues of the body. So that's obviously bad. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that your body is highly intelligent. So when something goes wrong, your body does something to fix it immediately because it needs to maintain its balance, its homeostasis. So one of the ways that your body responds to hyperventilation is to purposely narrow the airways in order to force a person to breathe less. So in the case of a child with swollen adenoids, what's happening there is the child is hyperventilating, their body's not getting enough oxygen, so it says, hey, I need to change something. So it purposely swells the adenoid tissue, which forces the child to breathe more slowly because it's a smaller passageway. And this maintains some degree of homeostasis. And this can also be seen, another example of a defense mechanism is with an asthmatic. An asthmatic is also hyperventilating. Their body's not receiving enough oxygen. So the body says, hey, stop hyperventilating. I'm going to force you to stop. And what it does is it purposely constricts the airways in order to, once again, slow down the breathing so that carbon dioxide can be conserved and the homeostasis is maintained. The way to fix that is obviously to address the problem with breathing. If you can reverse the hyperventilation, and we do that through various games and exercises that teach the child how to change their breathing, then you make the defense mechanisms unnecessary. So the body no longer needs to create these defense mechanisms to maintain the homeostasis. So some other effects beyond the adenoid issue usually being resolved is that the child often becomes much, much calmer, and their attention is better and their focus is better. Because when you have oxygen in your brain, it's much easier to focus, and it's much more easy to pay attention and be alert and be active throughout the day. We have many, many cases of children who, after going through the program, not only do they not have to get surgery for their adenoids, which is usually confirmed by a doctor, but their demeanor changes, their appetite changes. I have one parent that I worked with who they told me halfway through the program that their child was eating more, and she was gaining a little bit of weight because she was always on the underweight side. And that's one of the things that breathing can do. It tends to have a normalizing effect on the entire physiology of the child, not just on the adenoids. It could really greatly strengthen a child's health, and it's something that's really, really worthy to do if your child has any sort of breathing issues. And swollen adenoids are an indication of that. Some other indications of breathing problems are snoring, sleep apnea. If a child breathes through the mouth, that is a very obvious indication that he's hyperventilating or breathing too much. Because the mouth is a much larger opening than the nose, so it's much easier to breathe more than you need to when you're breathing through the mouth. So any mouth breathing, any snoring, any sleep apnea, enlarged adenoids, those are all good signs that you should really address the way that your child is breathing. We have a program called Adenoids Without Surgery. And this program consists of 8 weeks of working one-on-one with a breathing specialist. Usually we do one session per week, about an hour and a half per session, maybe more, maybe less, depending on what we have to cover that week. And throughout the week, you're in daily contact with your specialist through telephone and email. During the sessions, we educate the parents and the children about breathing, and we use a lot of games in order to bring awareness to how you're currently breathing and also what you need to do to change it, to breathe better, to feel better. So it ends up being something that will improve the health of the entire family. And it kind of becomes a fun family project. So if your child has any issues related to swollen adenoids or sleep apnea or mouth breathing or a stuffy nose, then I highly recommend that you have a consultation and discuss with a specialist if you would be a good candidate for our Adenoids Without Surgery program. If you'd like to set up a consultation with one of our breathing specialists, click the link below this video, and it will take you to a page where you would register for the consultation. After you do that, a specialist will contact you shortly. So click the link below, and we'll see you soon.